What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. To keep things short and sweet, the last video you guys saw was we picked up a engine for the E36 and I explained on how I money shifted it and blew it up. Well, we did that again. We put that the engine that was out of that rally car in the E36 and then drove it for about a week and money shifted it again. Basically came to the conclusion that there's something wrong with the trans that was basically causing that to happen. So blew that engine up. The day I blew it up, the very next day drove to Michigan, picked up a new engine, which it sucks that I blew up two engines, but I'm kind of glad I did because the engine that I picked up came out of a road course car this time and it was super duper clean, and it was an M52, which if you're not familiar, and some of you may not even care, but I'll briefly go over it real quick. The M50 and the M52 don't have much differences. The difference is the M50 is OBD1, the M52 is OBD2, so you just have to swap some sensors out. This solenoid, your crank and knock sensors and stuff. There's two coolant temp sensors on the M50. There's only one on the M52. Just little things. Oil tree housing or whatever, that's different. The oil pan's different, the valve cover's different, so you have to kind of swap everything over. Intake and stuff that comes on an M52 is different. I believe that's most of everything. So swapped everything over. The engine though is super duper clean. It almost looks like it has a valve job, like the head's recorded and stuff. I don't know for sure, doesn't really matter to me, but it was super duper clean. Like, the engine's so clean. It's already in the car. Car's already running and driving. But the reason I'm making this video is because we have our first track day this weekend. Fingers crossed that it doesn't rain. And I kind of wanted to film it because last year I kept saying I was going to film all of the drift season and I didn't. We are gonna kind of go over a few things. You'll notice there's over fenders on the car because we are putting the three-piece wheels on finally, which I've not showed anyone those yet, and I've had them forever. So those are getting put on this week. We have to fix the exhaust, do some nut and bolt check stuff because we most likely have to street drive it there because the first gen is broken down and it's not gonna be fixed before then. So we're gonna go through some stuff and I'm just kind of film everything. I'm not gonna go super far into detail, mostly just making this to make it. So we've got the passenger side front over mounted. It's just it's self-tapered on at the moment, just to test fit, but basically I measured each hole out so that way we can just drill our rivets for those spots. I'm probably going to riv nut it on for now, and then I'll probably do rivets later when we paint it, so you can't see them. But the biggest thing we've had an issue with is the rear wheel spacers that we had on this car. Since this car is lug bolt, the heads of the bolts would basically hit the wheel before it would mount flush on the spacer, so I ground them down, which I knew was not a good idea. And that's all you had to work with, and it worked fine. Like, I was able to get a socket on there and break them loose when I needed to, but basically I Loctited these on because they kept walking loose on track. So I Loctited them on thinking, oh, I'll never have to pull them off anytime soon. Well, now comes the time where I have to pull them off because these wheels are not the same lug pattern, so I have to put adapters on. Anyways, long story short, since there's such little surface area to get a socket on here, these all stripped out, or at least one on this side did, and I couldn't get anything on it to get it loose. So literally we tried cutting it down the middle. That didn't work. So we ended up having to cut the whole spacer, which we cut this in 3 different places, clean through, and it still wouldn't come off. Literally, this took me about 4 hours to get off. And sure enough, on the other side, we have the same exact issue, except there's 2 wheel spacer, or there's 2 lug nuts that are stripped instead of 1. and I tried to drill this one out and use a step-up bit to maybe just kind of get the spacer off, then pull the studs. Well, that didn't work. So then I got an extractor, beat an extractor in there, and then the extractor snapped off inside the lug nut, and this is hardened steel, so it won't drill. I can't drill it out now, and I'm trying to cut through it with a Sawzall, and it's not cutting through it with the Sawzall either, so kind of in a small dilemma. This is probably going to take way longer than it should, but these are those things that happen with cars, and a very valuable lesson learned. One, I will never do that again. I will never grind down lug nuts. I'll just let the wheel not sit flush. And number two, I will never Loctite them on again, which I knew that was kind of a bad idea, but it worked. So, but yeah, in the meantime, we're gonna work on trying to get this off, and then once we get these off, we can finally finish up the rest of the car. We kind of fixed the exhaust leak that we had. We still have to cut this fender out, which doesn't take long, and mount these fenders, which won't take long either. We still have to get some of the oil out of the back spark plug holes that we never got out. Our other two tires for the other two wheels should be in tomorrow. We'll get those mounted up. Not that we need them, because we're just going to run them up front at the track anyways. I want to get my sub hooked up. I want to clean the interior out and stuff. Before then, I want to readjust my harnesses because they got a little loose. Just a lot of little odds and ends stuff that I want to finish up. So with that being said, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to try and attempt to get that off over there. Okay, we got the spacer off on this side. We tried pretty much every option, and we ended up just having to cut it off, like I said. So that was Sawzall, grinder, and 8-pound sledgehammer. Lesson learned, never again will I do that. So now we get to move on to the other things. I would like to have the car on the ground tonight, so that way I know if we run into any issues, wheel-wise, and all that stuff. So, okay guys, so we got the E36 together. Pretty much everything that I talked about is done. We got the front overs and stuff are permanently mounted now. They definitely rub while driving, but not bad enough to raise the car. We'll just let it rub. Okay, so the last clip you just saw was on Sunday before we went to the track. My GoPro consistently always just randomly dies, and it's really frustrating. Like, I really want to make videos and stuff, and it just shuts off all the time. It's really just pisses me off. I need to get a better camera. But I didn't film anything at the track. I didn't film any of the rest of that clip. I have this really bad problem where I get hyper focused at the track and I don't think about anything else, and it's so bad. Like, there's so much stuff that I want to do. Like, I want to set up the GoPro in the car. I want to set up, like, I even have a freaking GoPro mount on the back side of my bumper so I can, like, see the suspension travel and stuff. Never have set it up in there because I just get so hyper focused at the track that I, like, don't think about anything besides driving. And it's a really bad habit. I got to do better. Like, even, like, I have a lap counter. Didn't count a single lap the whole time I was there because I was just so focused on driving. Just stupid stuff. So, basically, what I was saying in that clip was that the car rubs and that I wasn't going to raise it because raising your car is for pussies. We just let it rub. And the car drove an hour to the track and shredded the whole time. Drove an hour back. We did DB a tire. 100% my fault. I was oversteering into the bank and I kept oversteering like an idiot. It's my fault. Something I got to do better at. And it popped the front tire off. So it literally flipped the tire to the inside. I've never seen that happen. Anyways, our buddy Robert happened to have a set of wheels that he couldn't run, so we threw those on the front, drifted the rest of the day. Was not happy with my driving at all. Just was struggling, but I'm gonna pop up some clips that I have One thing I'm going to complain about, and I always make excuses for this, but my car is not geared properly for kill carry. I drove it all last year, but like basically you're either on the limiter or you're bogging down in third. Third, you cannot run the infield in third. It just doesn't have the ass to do it. Second gear, so basically you'd have to enter in third, downshift to second. The problem with that is in the infield, coming up on the bank, you can't upshift to third because the car will just bog, so like you can't run the proper line up to the wall. Some people say that I need to run a higher line, but like the car just runs out of wheel speed and it'll like just straighten out and like go straight into the wall if I were to run a higher line. So yeah, we're fixing that. We're gonna stop, making that excuse. I'm picking up a diff tomorrow. We're gonna go from a 391 to a 315, see how we like it, and adjust from there. Everyone else at the track that has an E36 with my engine setup runs the same diff ratio and they don't have problems, so I should be good. But yeah, so I'm gonna pop up the clips. This is gonna be my outro, so I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna try my best to do better in film, just because I like doing it for myself. It's stuff that's good to look back on and reflect on and watch my driving progress and stuff, because I really am focused on trying to be better this year. So yeah, enjoy the videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.